When we think about courage, we often think about heroic acts and obviously brave deeds. But one of the original definitions of courage that I love is to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Think about that when we actually speak what's on our mind, we're very often having to reveal what's in our heart in a way that feels risky or uncomfortable. When I read this definition for the first time, I thought that's how courage shows up in the workplace more often, not in grand sweeping gestures, although sometimes like that too, but in these subtler, more vulnerable conversations and acts where we speak truthfully, genuinely, openly, and in a way that often feels hard or risky. So we've been exploring this idea in the last few episodes of our podcast, and I want to share with you 3 really important lessons that we've learned about courage in the workplace. I'm just going to give you the headliners, and if you want to dig in, you can click on the podcast links. Now, before we get there, I'm going to tell you one thing that I'm doing with courage today is I'm recording this video for all of you, even though I just got Invisalign braces yesterday and it's making me talk funny. So I hope you'll give me a little grace as I work through this. So lesson number 1 on courage. Making the courageous choice means that you stay in alignment with your values, even when it feels socially or professionally risky to do so. In episode 9, we talked with Joe Rea, and he reminded us that, for example, if integrity is a big important value to you, then when you are asked to do something or you see something that feels dishonest or underhanded, you speak up, even if you're worried about being viewed as difficult or the squeaky wheel. You choose doing what's right over doing what's easy or safe or comfortable. The second lesson on courage we talked about with Shontra Powell in episode 10 is the fact that courage actually requires this really interesting blend of confidence and humility. Now, most of us know what confidence means, but humility is this important and less understood idea. Timothy Clark defines humility as the unresented acceptance, and that phrase is really important, the unresented acceptance that you are dependent on other people and that you don't know everything. Now, it's one thing to know intellectually. Of course, most of us know intellectually that we're dependent on other people and that we don't have all the answers. But it's another thing entirely to really get good with that idea, to embrace it, and to lead with that idea first. In episode 10, you can hear Shontra tell a great story about how she discovered the hard way the importance of humility. Lastly, in episode 11, we had a really interesting conversation around how doing DEIB work absolutely requires courage. And I think most of us know that. Honoring diversity, building more equitable and inclusive workplaces, generating a sense of belonging, that for sure requires courage because it often requires relating with people who are different than us in a new way, being open to learn new things, being open to change our own sense of our own identity. But in the conversation, Julio gave some great examples. What does courage look like around DEIB work? You can hear him share a story about one of those examples in podcast 11. So in closing today, I want you to think about courage in the workplace for yourself. Where are you already showing up with courage that you're proud of? And where do you want to be more courageous? What conversation do you need to have that might feel difficult or risky? Where are you wanting to step into vulnerability more to stay in alignment with your values? I want you to think about one thing that you'd like to do that is an act of courage in the workplace and do it.